Today I want to talk to you about slide guitar and just give you a few quick tips and pointers. First and foremost, figure out what type of slide you want. You got to get one that fits the finger that you want to play on, and you want to find the material that works for you. For me, I personally like glass. It sounds the best to me and it feels the best. There's tons of people that play brass slides and they're really good with them. I personally, I just, the feel of it, it doesn't feel right to me. I like ceramic slides, except I break them all the time. And I finally settled on Pyrex glass. I really like these. Find what works for you. There's steel slides, there's wood slides, there's brass slides, there's glass, there's ceramic, there's all kinds of stuff. Find one that feels good and sounds good to you. The second thing I would recommend, figure out what finger feels the best to you, okay? So some people play on their first finger, they flip their hand upside down, and they play like this. I can't do that because it doesn't feel natural to me, and I'm terrified that I'm going to lose my precious favorite slide. Some people play on their pinky, and that also it just doesn't feel right for me, but try it because it might work for you. I have settled on ring finger most of the time, and then middle finger if the song calls for it. If I'm grabbing chords, I don't know, terrible example, but something like that where I need to extend beyond where my slide is, I'll go to my middle finger. Most of the time, I play on my ring finger. Some things to keep in mind. You will probably want to play with your fingers because it helps with muting. I also find that having a finger beyond the slide, as in like on the other side towards the pickups, helps with muting, where if you miss something, you can just kind of touch that string and then it'll mute it. Another thing to consider, let's talk about the picking hand. Check this out. You basically can just, like a classical guitar player, you can rest your relaxed hand on 5 strings, and then you have access to hold and mute all the strings with that. You can rest your thumb. I don't know if you can see this well, but I'll try to explain it. The side of my thumb is touching the low E, and so by doing this, I have control over all the strings, and I can move the slide around, and all it does is go. You know what I mean? So think about that. Muting is very important when you play slide, because if you just go like that, does not sound good. No one wants to hear that. You can just kind of pull, like if you want these fingers, like your first and your third, you just kind of pull, and you'll get. So just think about that. Another thing to consider. The angle of the slide. If your slide is tilted like this or like this on the neck and not completely perpendicular to the fingerboard, to the frets, parallel to the frets, perpendicular to kind of the bottom of the neck, it's going to be out of tune. That sounds terrible, right? But if you turn and now you're in tune. You want to be parallel with the frets, with the... Now, having said that, you can do effects and stuff. Like you can slide up, you can do a big slide with your hand like this, and the slide kind of tilted down like this, slide, and then kind of straighten it out, and that sounds cool. But I'm saying in general, if you're going like, that sounds terrible. You want it to be parallel to the frets. All right? Now, another thing to consider is people generally think of slide as an open tuning technique. And to a degree, that's true, but I promise you, learn how to play slide in standard tuning, and it's a much more freeing experience. Because when you play an open G, you're locked into a major key for chords. In standard, you have a minor chord on the highest 3 strings. You have E, B, and G. So you have 1 on the E, 5 on the B, and 3 on the G. So that's a minor chord. So that allows you to play a minor chord. Like let's play A minor. And you can play major chords by playing the B, the G, and the D. And that would be a G major chord. So the way that I think about this as a guitar player is when I play minor, when I'm playing the highest three strings, Wherever you're at on the E, that is the tonic. That is the root of the chord. So if you're at the 12th fret, you're in E minor. If you go to the 13th fret, you would be at F minor. Now, when you play the major chords using a G major as like the scale, if you will, wherever you're at on the G, that is the root, that is the tonic. So, if you play at the 12th fret, that's a G major. If you go up to the 13th fret, that's a G sharp major. One last thing, if I did not mention this yet, when I say like 12th fret, you want to be on the front side of that. As if you were, like when you fret it, it touches the fret that is on this side of your hand, of your fretting hand, right? So you want to, when you go to the 12th fret, you don't sit behind the 12th fret. You go just a little past it and you're over that front fret. All right. Now, the last thing I'll say, just have fun. Slide is such a freeing way to play the guitar and express yourself. Have fun with it. I personally really like it, and I don't even know why, because it's kind of limiting. You can't play fast, and like there's certain things you can't do, but there's also some things you can only do with a slide, or with a coin. If you're really good at that too, you can use a coin. And have fun with it. All right. I hope you guys enjoy this, and God bless. Take care.